right, here we go. Hey everybody, it's Chris Kirkpatrick with Life 180 and welcome back. So late night live stream here. So got home and got done with my day, got done with my workout, hanging out with the kids, put the kids to bed, checking up on some reading and going through, learning a little bit as I'm going through kind of like reading on all the news and the politics and everything that's going on in the world. I came across some information that I thought I would want to share with everybody simply because I think it probably is impactful to people who follow my podcast, my YouTube channel here. And so the first thing I want to kind of get into is the stimulus check. You know, I know a lot of people are worried about whether or not you're going to receive a stimulus check. There's a lot of people out there questioning when is it going to happen. You know, all the politics about the right and the left and everything that go into it. I don't want to get into all that. But what I do want to say is, like, no matter, it looks like at this point in time that the checks are going to be given out in March at some point in time. And so one of the things that I just kind of came across that I hadn't thought about is that if you're somebody who's worried about getting your check, the next round of stimulus, since it's likely going to be in March, that's in the middle of tax season. So one of the things to take into consideration for that is the fact that since it's in the middle of tax season, the IRS actually utilizes your last tax return as a means to determine eligibility, right? So what does that mean for the average everyday American who's concerned about this? Well, there's a couple things to look at. For some people, it may make sense and it may actually be advised and required for you to file your taxes immediately, like right now, like tomorrow if you can. Or as soon as possible before they actually approve this and start sending out checks. Why? Because if, for instance, you didn't qualify in 2019 for a check, let's say right now, the qualifying threshold for income for the third round at this point in time, granted it's all being negotiated right now, but right now at this point in time, it looks like for an individual, it's $75,000 in income or less. And for couples, it's $150,000 and less. So let's say that 2019, you made, as a couple, $155,000 and you didn't qualify and you were just over the threshold, or maybe you made $200,000 and you didn't qualify. Well, the reality is, I think we all know, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had worse years in 2020 than they had in 2019 and the years prior, right? So if that's the case, think about it. If you don't file your taxes before the middle of March when they do this and they get the everything out there, and they start sending checks out, well, then you're going to be in a situation where they're going to rely on your last tax returns, which is 2019, which is going to make you ineligible again for this one. So there are a lot of people who hadn't qualified for previous checks that are going to qualify for this third round of stimulus simply due to the fact that you're going to be able to get your new tax statement in. And so that's actually going to be a blessing to a lot of people. Now, conversely, there are a lot of people that had better years in 2020. I know it's kind of crazy, but there are a lot of people that actually, due to the economy, due to the nature of how things worked, certain service-based industries, certain industries actually thrived in 2020. And so if that's you, maybe you had more income, maybe you had a bump in income. If that's you, and 2019 was worse than 2020, and you qualified under the 2019, and you didn't under the 2020 filings, or what you will file for in 2020, you may want to delay your filing until you get your check. It's just something to take into consideration. Another thing that's important is if you did have a baby or something of that nature, I can't think of anything else. Probably if you had a baby, the reality is to be able to get money, extra stimulus money for the baby, and to qualify for that, you're gonna have to file your taxes early to be able to let them know, because that's how they determine whether you're eligible for that, because you have to put your dependents down on your tax return. And so that's a big thing to consider here. So, but the bottom line, I mean, this isn't going to be a super long video, super elaborate video. I just saw this and I thought it would make a lot of sense to a lot of people. I took some notes here because I know it's important. I know the world is hurting right now. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty. Some people are thriving, some people are not, and I know a lot of people are relying on this check. And I know a a lot of times the people who are in that range of the $150,000 to $200,000 household income, while a lot of people feel like that's a lot of money, that doesn't get as far as it used to, and you're just as tight as everybody else. So being able to qualify for this stimulus, just make sure that you work with your CPA, make sure if you're doing this yourself and using TurboTax or something like that, that you're actually looking at all the moving parts, looking at the variables, and taking into consideration how do your decisions around your tax filings actually impact your eligibility for them. Don't want to file too early if it's going to make it so you don't qualify, but you don't want to wait too late if you did not qualify in 2019, and filing early with 2020 will help you qualify. So anyway, that's it. Hope that helps, give you some good information, and I don't know, inspires you to make a decision around your taxes, and kind of give you a place to start as far as thinking about what you're going to do. Until next video, I'll see you tomorrow, and have a blessed, inspirational night. I'll talk to you then. See ya.